at Tulare Union High School, and you're watching CNN Student News!
I want to thank my seniors for that very spirited introduction. I'm Carl Azus. This is CNN Student News. And in our penultimate program of 2010, we present some perspectives on privacy. First up, though, we're headed to Washington, D.C. 81 yeas, 19 nays. So the tax cut plan passes in the U.S. Senate. This is a compromise that President Obama and Republican leaders came up with that would extend a series of tax cuts for another 2 years. Yesterday, the Senate approved the plan, which would cost more than $850 billion. Now, though, it has to go through the U.S. House of Representatives. Some of the Democratic members there aren't happy with parts of this plan, so this is not something that is set in stone. The U.S. government is filing a lawsuit over this year's massive oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. The suit is aimed at BP and 8 other companies who were involved in the spill. When he made the announcement yesterday, Attorney General Eric Holder said, quote, "We intend to hold them fully accountable for their violations of the law." The lawsuit, which accuses the companies of failing to prevent or control the spill, is one of nearly 80 suits that are all being combined together. And a meeting brings together politics and big business. President Obama got together yesterday with the heads of 20 of America's biggest companies. They included Google, American Express, Pepsi. Here, you see the president walking to the meeting at Blair House, just across the street from the White House. He said the goal was to find ways to boost the economy and increase hiring. The group talked about energy, taxes, and trade with other countries. And one CEO who was at the meeting said he hoped it would provide the opportunity to figure out some plans to help the economy.
Time for the shout-out. Which of these ships was involved in the Boston Tea Party? Now, if you think you know it, shout it out. Was it the Dartmouth, Merrimack, Mayflower, or Pinafore? You've got 3 seconds. Go. The Dartmouth was one of the ships involved in the Boston Tea Party. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out.
That famous protest happened 237 years ago today. A group of colonists disguised themselves as Native Americans, went on ships in Boston Harbor, and dumped hundreds of chests of tea overboard. What they were protesting was the British Tea Act. Remember, the American colonies were controlled by Britain then. Some colonists were angry about the taxes being created by the British government. The British Parliament was furious about the Boston Tea Party and set up more laws in Boston, and all of this eventually helped lead to the American Revolution.
Time for a shout-out extra credit. Who is the founder of Facebook? You know what to do. Is it Bill Gates, Sean Fanning, Steve Jobs, or Mark Zuckerberg? Another 3 seconds on the clock. Go. Zuckerberg started the social networking site when he was a student at Harvard University. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out extra credit.
That was back in 2003. In 2010, Mark Zuckerberg is Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Time is owned by Time Warner, the same company that owns CNN. Other people who were considered for this year's award, the Chilean miners, the Tea Party movement, and the founder of WikiLeaks. Time said it chose Zuckerberg because his social networking site has had a huge impact on how we communicate and do business. The magazine pointed out that Facebook has linked 1/12 of the entire world into a single network. If Facebook were a country, it would be the 3rd largest country on the planet. Nearly half of all Americans have a Facebook account. We know a lot of you do, and when you post something online, even if it's meant to be private, there's a good chance it'll wind up in the public eye. I talked with some Atlanta area teens and their parents recently about how much privacy they expect to have, whether they're on their phones or online. As far as phones go and sharing your numbers with people, how many of you expect your numbers to remain private?
Phone number? Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
And have you ever gotten a text or a call from a number that you didn't recognize?
Yes.
Yes. But that's normally from someone that's given my number to someone else. Not that I've approved it, but so never mind. My hand goes down.
I tell my friends not to give away my phone number, but it still happens.
These suburban Atlanta teenagers may want their phone numbers to be private, but I found their expectations were very different when it comes to the internet. Do you expect what you post online to be private?
No.
Not really.
I know it's not.
Why not?
Everyone sees it. I mean, the internet's, it's the World Wide Web. Everyone in the world can get to it, so I'm pretty careful about what I put on there.
Well, I know nothing's really private.
So how does that affect what you post on Facebook?
I don't say anything that I don't want anyone to hear.
It's a caution instilled by their parents. How much privacy do you give him on Facebook?
Very little. If they do want privacy, they can get a journal, they can write in it, keep it in their desk drawer. I will never read it. But when you're posting something that everyone can look at, I'm going to look at it also.
Anything you're willing to put out there in either a written form, be willing to stand up in front of the whole high school and announce this.
Well, I teach in a school, so we deal with a lot of these issues each day. And so I sometimes talk about situations that I've encountered at work and hoping that maybe something would be learned from those as well.
And while all three students said they'd texted something they wish they could take back, they were far more reserved in their internet behavior, largely because of their parents' involvement.
Professing ignorance of it and not monitoring it, I think you're setting yourself up for failure as a parent, because I think the kids definitely need guidance.
It's time for another edition of Career Connections. Our own Tamika Jones joins me here. Tamika, I hear you're focusing on the investigative side of journalism today.
That's right, Carl. Amber Lyon, she's an investigative reporter as well as a correspondent for CNN. But before she started working here, she moved to Central America to help improve herself as a journalist. Amber credits her mother for helping her decide what career path she wanted to take and says she has a passion for journalism and knew she couldn't fail at it.
The reason I love being a journalist is that you can really make a huge difference in society. A video, I say, can say a million words. General assignment is more, you do the breaking news, the quick turn stories that feed the daily news. They're very important. You'll find a lot more general assignment reporters than you ever will investigative reporters. Investigative is more like we find one issue and maybe spend sometimes an entire year looking into it and getting down to the bottom of it. And it's more documentary style. One thing you'll have to learn in news more than anything is that how can you make your story different? How can you get the public's attention? My whole goal with Backpack Reporters is to be able to bring them on stories with us, let them experience the story. We're gonna be taking a journey and I'm gonna bring you with me. So with the backpack, I look at it as, okay, I'm gonna throw on my backpack and come with me. We're gonna go on a journey to find this story, and I just try to make it really intimate with viewers so they can connect to it. The lesson to everybody, whether you're a journalist or anything else, any other type of career, is be willing to take risks, because if you're truly passionate about it, follow your passion and success will follow. It will pay off in the end.
We've been making career connections all semester. Now we want to hear from you. Students, go to our blog at cnnstudentnews.com. Tell us what careers have sparked your interest. And teachers, check out the CNN Teachers Lounge and share how you address careers in your classrooms. The blog, the Teachers Lounge, both are at cnnstudentnews.com. And before we go, we've got a tale that takes a long time to tell. Say 25 years. That's how long Misty here has been around, according to her owner, and that would make her 175 in dog years. If the folks at the record books can confirm that, she will officially be the oldest dog on the planet. Misty's owner has to provide the proof, and that includes the 7 years before he adopted her. The part of her life that he Misty. Hey, at least we didn't make a joke about an old dog needing to walk with a canine. Or about Misty being the mutt of a bunch of jokes. We'll roll over and try again tomorrow. See, I was warned that those puns were going to be bad. You guys just had to deal with it. Sorry. For CNN Student News, I'm Carl Azuz.